Have you ever held a secret so heavy it felt like it could crack your ribs from the inside out? Mine was nestled right here, in this quiet Chicago brownstone, tucked inside a simple manila envelope. The air in our bedroom was thick with the scent of lavender from the diffuser my wife Sarah insisted on, but all I could smell was betrayal. The envelope sat on my lap, its contents burning a hole through the paper, through my jeans, straight into my soul. I knew what was inside would end everything. The only question was, when? If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. My world had been perfect, or so I thought. I had Sarah, my beautiful, ambitious wife. We had this gorgeous home in Lincoln Park, a life we'd built together brick by brick. We were trying for a baby, the final piece of our perfect puzzle. My brother Mark was my best friend, my confidant, the guy I'd shared everything with since we were kids. He was over all the time, laughing at our dinner table, playing video games with me in the basement. He was family. The shift was subtle at first. Sarah started working late more often, citing big projects at her marketing firm. When she was home, she was distant, her phone always face down on the table. She'd get texts late at night and dismiss them as just work stuff. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? But a knot of unease began to tighten in my gut. She started criticizing me for small things, the way I loaded the dishwasher, the shows I watched. It felt like she was pushing me away, creating a space between us I couldn't cross. Mark became different too. He'd avoid my gaze. His usual easygoing banter replaced with short, clipped answers. He stopped coming over for our weekly game nights. When I asked him about it, he'd just say he was busy, swamped with his own life. The two people I trusted most in the world were becoming strangers, and I was the fool standing in the middle, completely oblivious. The breakdown happened on a Tuesday. I'd come home early from a business trip to surprise Sarah. I walked into our bedroom and found her on the phone, her back to the door. Her voice was low, intimate. "I know, baby," she whispered. "I miss you too. I can't wait to feel your hands on me again." My blood ran cold. She laughed, a soft, private sound I hadn't heard from her in months. "He has no idea," she added. "He's so clueless." Then she turned, and our eyes met. The color drained from her face. She hung up instantly. That night was a blur of manufactured lies. It was a girlfriend, a prank call, anything but the truth that was screaming between us. But the mask had slipped. I saw the cold, calculating woman beneath the wife I loved. My heart didn't just break. It atomized. The pain was a physical thing, a crushing weight in my chest that made it hard to breathe. For a week, I was a ghost in my own home. I ate nothing. I barely slept. I just watched her, this stranger living in my house, and the hatred started to bloom where love used to be. That's when I decided I wasn't going to be the victim. I wasn't going to just crawl away and let them have their victory. No, I was going to dismantle their world just like they had dismantled mine. The grief hardened into a cold, sharp resolve. I started a plan. My first step was evidence. I knew I needed undeniable proof. I installed discrete software on our home computer. I wasn't proud of it, but I was past caring about pride. The emails I found were like a series of daggers to the heart. Hundreds of them between Sarah and Mark. They wrote about their secret meets, their shared disdain for me, their plans for a future together. They called me weak, predictable, a placeholder. Then came the biggest blow. An email from Sarah to Mark with the subject line, "Our little secret." Inside, she'd attached a picture of a positive pregnancy test. "It's ours," she wrote. "We did it. Now I just need to figure out how to handle him, handle me." Like I was a problem to be solved. That was the moment my last shred of love for her died. The child I thought was going to be ours, the dream I'd held so close, was a lie. It was their triumph, and my ultimate humiliation. My revenge needed to be methodical, a perfectly executed trap. I started by quietly moving my assets. I opened a new bank account. I consulted a lawyer, a shark recommended by a colleague, and explained the situation. We drew up the divorce papers, citing infidelity with irrefutable evidence. The lawyer advised me to wait, to let them get more comfortable, to let them dig their own graves a little deeper, so I did. I played the part of the devoted, slightly clueless husband, I told Sarah how thrilled I was about the pregnancy. I suggested we host a party to announce it to our family and friends. A big celebration. She loved the idea. Her arrogance was breathtaking. She and Mark thought they had one. I saw the triumphant glances they shared when they thought I wasn't looking. The party was set for a Saturday night at our home. I invited everyone, our parents, all our mutual friends, Sarah's colleagues. The house was filled with laughter and congratulatory chatter. Sarah was glowing, the center of attention, holding court and accepting hugs. Mark stood near her, a smug, proprietary look on his face. They were untouchable. I waited until everyone was gathered in the living room for a toast. I stood up, champagne glass in hand, and smiled. "Thank you all for coming," I began, my voice steady. "This is a truly special night. Sarah and I have some wonderful news to share." Sarah beamed at me, her hand resting on her stomach. "We're expecting," I said, and the room erupted in applause. "I'm going to be a father, and I couldn't be happier." I paused, letting the cheers die down. I looked directly at Sarah, my smile turning cold, or at least that's what I thought. Silence fell. The projector I had set up earlier, word to life, and the wall behind me lit up. The first image was an email, the one with the subject line, "Our little secret." Gasps rippled through the room. I started reading their words aloud. Their plans, their insults, their secret language of betrayal. With each word, Sarah's face went from confusion to horror. Mark looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. I clicked to the next slide. It was a detailed summary of financial records I'd found. Credit card statements showing hotel rooms, expensive gifts. Mark had bought for sorrow, paid for from a joint account he shared with his own long-term girlfriend, who was also in the room, her face a mask of shock and tears. Then, the finale. I held up the manila envelope. "And finally," I said, my voice dropping to a near whisper, "the results of a prenatal paternity test I had done last week, using a DNA sample I borrowed from my brother's coffee cup." I ripped it open and pulled out the single sheet of paper. "Congratulations, Mark. You're going to be a father." The chaos was immediate. Our parents were screaming. Sarah was sobbing, a hysterical, ugly sound. Mark just stood there, frozen, as his girlfriend slapped him across the face and stormed out. I watched the destruction I had created, feeling nothing but a vast, cold emptiness. My lawyer, who I'd asked to attend, quietly served Sarah the divorce papers right there in the middle of the wreckage of her life. Within a month, it was all over. The divorce was swift. She got nothing. Her affair was public, her reputation destroyed. Her firm fired her due to the scandal. Our friends chose sides, and she was left with no one. My parents disowned Mark. He lost his girlfriend, his job, and his family in one fell swoop. They had nothing left but each other and the bitter ashes of the lives they had torched. I sold the house. I moved out of Chicago, needing a clean break from the ghosts of my past. Sometimes I hear things, that they're living in a small apartment somewhere, struggling, that the baby was born. I don't ask. I don't want to know. The revenge was complete, but it brought no joy, no satisfaction. It was just quiet. Now I live a simple life. The pain is a dull ache, a constant companion. Victory tastes like ash in my mouth. I destroyed them, yes, but a part of me was destroyed in the process. I won the war, but I look around and realize I'm standing alone on the battlefield. There is no peace in revenge, only a louder silence. The end.